What is going on, party people? My name is Mike. I'm here with the one and only Mr. Ben Allgaier, and this is episode one. Maybe we'll call it episode, maybe just show one of Beyond
Sure.
the Deal. Both a little bit working title, but Ben, how we doing today?
Good. Good. I'm tired of, you know, podcast. That word's overplayed.
Yeah, so maybe we'll call this a show.
Sure. Yeah, total show.
Okay,
Works for me.
a show with a working title. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, we've been talking about this for a few weeks, just kind of getting on, shooting the shit, talking about deals, talking about real estate, talking about things beyond the deal. So I know we got a few topics today. We'll just kind of riff on it. Hopefully people get some value on it and maybe we'll do this again.
Apparently we're cursing too, so fuck it. Let's go.
All right, start us off, though. I mean, I know you.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple things that I want to touch on. One of the things we wrote down was state of the market. You know how boring that sounds? Sounds fucking miserable. I don't want to necessarily talk about the state of the market, more like what we're seeing out there, but
Sounds like a
like,
CNN headline.
yeah, good Lord. I don't watch that at all, so that doesn't interest me whatsoever. So, um, yeah, I think one of the main things that, I want to touch on is kind of what we're seeing with a lot of these leads that we're getting is just the inherent dishonesty with, other people that are in this business that are, you know, wholesaling houses, novating houses, just talking to homeowners and the obstacles that we're having to overcome because of just the blatant lies that people are out there telling, and it may not be their fault. May just be, the education they were given on how to do this business. It's just off or came from a non-reputable source. But good Lord, how many times have you been talking to somebody and they immediately go, I don't want to do another concierge. I don't need another concierge person to talk to me on the phone.
Concierge, what it was 2 days ago, it was Cash Clowns, which actually gave me a little bit of a chuckle. Cash Clowns, like
I liked it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it an uphill battle the moment you pick up the phone.
Yeah.
It's like these people have a mindset for their clowns most of the time, not always, right? But people who just don't know what they're doing, and on the homeowner side, they're carrying that into future conversations and just put us in that bucket.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of why we've built what we've built, right? The team aspect behind what we've built so that, people don't have to get on these calls and say and go through this alone. They have a team behind them that can support them. That's been doing this for a long time because a lot of these guys that get into this business, they watch a couple YouTube videos, they start hopping on phone calls with homeowners and they tell them what they think they should be telling them, but at the end of the day, it's just laced with, trying to be something that you're not. And it's okay to not know every answer. It's okay to be a rookie. It's okay to be getting started in this business. And that's what, I used to tell people when I was getting started. They're like, well, how long have you been doing this? Not very long, but I'm a hustler and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get you the information that you need and try to make this a win-win solution for you.
Yeah. And so I got a question for you then. How would you say, maybe this is a double-edged question. How does someone experienced or with more experience who's not a rookie stand out from bad conversations like we talked about? And the follow-up question would be, how do rookies not fall into that bucket of being cash clowns?
Yeah. Yeah. I think with the experienced people, they know how to talk on a different level than people that are brand new. Like you can just tell in their voice when they have so much conviction in what they're saying that, you know, that a rookie wouldn't have. Like if somebody asked me a question, like for instance, they asked me to explain innovation, I'm on top of that. I'm like, okay, this is exactly what we're going to do. This is how this is going to work. Nothing in real estate's guaranteed. You know, I mean, not a cash offer is not guaranteed. A listing's not guaranteed. A novation's not guaranteed. I mean, I know that a lot of people tell you it's a guaranteed number. Nothing's guaranteed. Things happen, right? And that full transparency with people, being convict in what you're saying, is that how you say that? Being convict in what you're saying? No
Maybe
way, that's right.
and
Having conviction. Yeah. Yeah. So, um, like the experienced people are able to overcome those things just because of the way that they speak and how transparent they are with people. The rookies, when you pitch them, like when you're teaching them to be transparent, they almost try to be the exact opposite because they think that they have to be something that they're not. It's okay to be something that you're not. It's okay to not have all the experience in the world. Everybody starts at square one in this business. I mean, unless your dad was a real estate mogul that, or your mom, unless your parents were real estate moguls and, they were doing deals since you were a kid and teaching you about real estate since you were a kid, not my experience, not your experience. I mean, not most of the people that we work with, their experience. It's okay to not know everything. And I think that's where, people get a little bit of this imposter syndrome and they fall into that trap of just saying what they think is the right thing when it's not. Like I'd rather be completely upfront with somebody if they ask a question. Yeah, man, I don't know the answer to that. You know what I do have? I have a hell of a team behind me that can answer that question for you. Again, I'm more the information gatherer here. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out, what your situation is, what your ideal outcome is, and how we can bridge that gap and if we're even a good fit. So let me go to my team. Let's keep rolling down this train of, figuring out what's going on and how I can best serve you. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to know every answer. And that's okay. As long as you're okay with that and you trust me that I've got people that I can go to get those answers for you, I'll get you those answers.
Yeah. I feel like there's a tension there between having some fake it till you make it and speaking with conviction, even if you are a rookie, but at the same time, having that radical transparency when the time comes, right? Like you don't want to be lying to homeowners. You don't want to be pretending like you know things when you don't know it, especially with the nuance that comes with doing deals.
Yeah.
But like I said, at the same time, you do want to have that little bit of oomph and that bit about you that makes people want to work with you, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of the expert and like the seasoned people, that just makes sense what you said. Like they have a presence about them. There's a conviction behind the voice when they say the words that people just feel. Goes
Yep.
beyond the words, really.
100%. Beyond the deals, beyond the words. Yeah, everything's beyond. We should have Buzz Lightyear sponsor this podcast or show or whatever it is. Oh no, dude. I mean, and it really goes back to like building relationships with people on the phone. There's too many people who get into this business and they're like, I got to know everything about the deal. I got to know everything about the house. You can find out all the information you need about the house from ChatGPT. You can literally type in, give me all the details about this house. You don't fucking need to know everything about the house. It's building that relationship, which, you were brand new not too long ago, but your skill set is being able to build a relationship with a homeowner, being able to build a relationship with a human being. And, not to get super woo-woo here, but I think that's something that the younger generations are lost on is all this screen time, all this time in front of this artificial thing is pulling them away from connecting with people. So they struggle inherently to be good at this business or, any sales type of role because they're just pulled away from having to build connections with people. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to send me into the grocery store by myself. Obviously, that was in the middle of Missouri where you weren't worried about your kid getting nabbed. But she would say, all right, I need this, and this. Go get it. Here's the money. I was like 8. No idea what the hell I'm doing. So she just sit me in there. I had to go figure it out. Half the things I didn't know where they were, and I would walk back out to the car and I'd be like, Mom, I couldn't find this. She goes, I don't care. Go back in there and find it. So I would have to go find somebody that worked there, ask them a question, you know, get them to want to help me, and then go get the thing. And then you go up to the register. You have to talk to a freaking person that's behind the register and give them the money, pay for the shit, and then walk back outside. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just I'm gonna do everything for you, or we didn't have Instacart that brought all the groceries to your freaking front door.
Middle of Missouri in the 1980s when Ben was 8 years
The
old.
1980s, you
Not
idiot. God,
at all, not that old.
no.
But no, but you're 100% right at the end of the day. And I mean, I see it with like younger siblings, younger cousins, younger family. People shut down when it comes to talking to people. And yeah, it's the screens, it's the access to be able to get things delivered to your front door. But at the end of the day, when you have the natural skill, maybe it's not even a skill. To some people, it's really just a
Second
person
nature.
trait. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nature to just I don't want to use the word rapport because it sounds salesy, but just like you build good rapport with people, that alone can
Yeah.
take you crazy far. Um, I mean, it's so random, but I was watching a rerun of a Game of Thrones episode the other day.
Never seen it.
You never seen it?
No.
And it just, being able to like talk to people, it was reminded me of, wow, if you just like you can talk yourself out of situations, right? And then you get to a point where you can be slimy if you're good at building rapport and you can take advantage of people in a vulnerable state, or you can actually use it for good, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we do with a lot of people in foreclosure. It's a lot of our leads. And so there are times in every conversation where sometimes I have that thought of, wow, if I was a piece of garbage, I could really screw this person over. And it's just because I give a crap. And
Yeah.
so maybe if I didn't give a crap, I wouldn't be in that position to get that far. But it's a lost art, lost personality trait. It's fading.
It is. And another example, my sister gives me shit all the time because I'll just like she calls it lucking my way into things. It's it's the most random things that happen. Like we went to Vegas for my bachelor party and we're sitting in this Uber and no one else is talking to the Uber driver. I'm like, fuck it. I'll start talking to her. Whatever. I'm sitting in the front seat. So I start shooting the shit with her. We wanted to play this golf course we wanted to play the Wynn. And it's like $1,200 a round at the time that we were down there. It was insane. And I start talking to her. She goes, before I started driving Uber, I used to live in Switzerland and I had a house in Switzerland. And, I moved to Vegas. And when I got to Vegas, I was Mr. Wynn's right-hand man. I go, no shit. So start talking down that train. I'm like, why are you driving Uber? She goes, my husband's at the house. I can't stand to be at the house all day long while he's there. I'm like, okay, makes sense. She goes, if you want to get around at the Wynn, let me make a call. So we're sitting in the Uber. She makes a call, gets us a tea time at the Wynn for four of us. I'm like, okay, that's amazing. And if we would have just sat there quietly in the car and not spoken to this person, never would have had that opportunity.
That is actually insane. I'm not surprised because you, what did you say your sister calls you? That
She says I luck into things.
you luck into things. Nah,
Yeah.
you don't. You just I feel like you're the definition of creating your own luck. Like,
Yeah, but again, it's not like me doing anything special. It's just the person behind the counter, even at the grocery store, they have a life, they have a story, they have something that's going on in their life that, you know, it goes back to that age-old adage that everybody wants to talk about themselves. So let them open up and talk about themselves. They feel good talking about themselves.
yeah,
That's what you do on the phone really well when you're talking to homeowners, is you just let them talk. Give them the space to say what they need to say.
yeah. Especially about deep things. People don't have that space or they don't feel comfortable having that space. But I mean, on a more shallow level of what you're talking about, like you're saying, the woman at the grocery store, lady at the airport, the flight attendant, whatever it is, just by sparking conversation, opportunity can come from it.
Yep.
You
And
know,
what you're never going to get that conversation if you're sitting here like this all fucking day long. No, put your goddamn phone down.
agree. Honestly,
If the, if Delana watches this, she's going to yell at me because I'm always on my phone. But
she's like hypocrite.
situational. Put your phone down.
Situation. We're doing deals out here.
Yep.
But yeah, I think a big part of that too, it's the phone, but it also is what it creates is like a fear of rejection. That people don't want to start that random conversation because they might get rejected or they're scared of it being awkward or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you gotta just put yourself out there at a certain point,
Yeah.
right?
You want to go super deep here?
Let's hear it. Let's go deep.
Well, I mean, this was where my train of thought went. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, who are all these people that, have made something of themselves? It's the people that put themselves out there. But at the end of the day, like I heard this thing the other day that, it was one of those videos that I was watching because my TikTok algorithm, my Instagram algorithm's all like uh um what's that guy's name? It's all like this deep level universe shit. It's not like people dancing or any of that crap. So this guy was talking and he said, I'm really bad with names, by the way. So he said, when you die, doesn't matter if there's 1,000 people at your funeral or five people at your funeral. They're going to go to your funeral. They're going to pay their respects. And then 30 minutes after they leave, they're going to get back to their life. They have responsibilities. They have things that they got to worry about. They've got kids. They've got family. They've got all of these things. They work. They're going to go right back to that. And they're going to forget about you. Why the fuck do you care what other people like? Why do you care about being rejected? To go back to what you said, why do you give a shit?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, at the end of our lives, we're rejected regardless. Like that's the final thing that happens is you're rejected. I mean, that's the reality of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it is.
No, you're 100% right. And even before you're dead, like when you think about the times that you've been embarrassed, maybe you did or said something like stupid, people remember for like 30 seconds. And so you got this hellstorm of no one really gives a crap in the moment. People forget about whatever you did 2 minutes later. And then like what combine that with what you said, where it's the sad reality. Like maybe outside of a tragic death and like your close family mourning you. I mean, I'll be the first to admit it. I've gone to wakes of second uncles, sibling, parents of my best friends, from out of sight, out of mind within 24 hours.
Yeah,
You
gone.
know, and it's like that's just the way it is because, like you said, everyone's got their own stuff, and so when you keep that in the back of your mind, it's like, you know, let me go out there and let me talk to the person scanning me in at the gym, right? Like, let me make this cold call, let me cold email this founder and pitch my services. Like, we can bring it back to business, but at the end of the day, like that personal stuff does transition to business.
It does.
We train people in the program who are cold calling, and that's a big, probably the number one block that I see is people are just afraid of that rejection, and they don't want to cold call someone and get cursed out. Who cares? That person will never know your name again. Make a cold call, send a cold DM, like put yourself out there, especially in a business sense where there is that ROI that's on the other side. You have the result, and then you also have the personal growth that comes from it
Yeah.
of you putting yourself into the shit and actually doing what you say you're going to do and coming out on the other side and being like, that actually wasn't too bad.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people think about this stuff too is, you know, like they think about us saying things like this as super selfish. It doesn't always need to get you a result that you're looking for. Like just talking to that lady in that Uber, it wasn't,
What can I
hey,
get?
I really want to get on the Wynn, and I have no idea if this lady can get me on the Wynn, but that's what we want to do. It's just having a conversation to, potentially make somebody else's life better. Because you have no idea what the hell's going on in their life. And if it works out to where something happens, like how many conversations do you have a day where you're talking to somebody random because you and I are both the types of people who don't just go through life and not have conversations. We just bullshit with people all day long. And it's not for what can I get out of this? It's more building a connection. You feel good at the end of the day when you talk to somebody and they open up and you know that their life was better because you had a conversation with them. I mean, it doesn't always have to be like the thought in your mind doesn't always need to be, what can I get out of this relationship? What can I get out of this relationship? Because people can see right through that shit.
For sure.
There's a
100%.
guy that there's a guy that I used to work for that's all that he used to do. Like it was 100% what can I get out of this relationship? And as soon as he saw that he couldn't get something out of the relationship, you're cut off.
Yeah. Like you're saying, you could smell that off someone.
Yeah.
And you're right. You don't need to get anything out of it. And like what you're getting out of it is just a spark of life. Like, like your life is a little
Yeah.
bit more fun as opposed to waking up, opening your phone, scrolling, going to work, eating dinner, scrolling your phone, going to bed.
I
Like,
get a hell of a bigger dopamine rush from having a conversation with somebody, whether it's on the phone or in person, than some stupid video that pops up on my Instagram. Yeah, the Instagram's a hell of a lot quicker and it's instant, but the actual feeling that you get from, a real life interaction is so far beyond what you get from this artificial crap.
I could not agree more. Yeah.
And to run down that train, since we're kind of just riffing here, why not? I get a lot of people that message me and ask about, what's your morning routine? What do you do on a daily basis? Like what does all of that look like for you? And Mike, how many times have I told you before we hop on a call, like, you have something that you want to talk about, or there's something that pops up and it's like, yeah, can we hop on a call? I'm like, well, I'm about ready to go meditate. I'll touch base with you after.
Yeah.
It's so important to create that space, to just like, that's what I focus on most of the day, is just creating that space for quiet and for me to just process things and think about a litany of different things. If I got into all of that, it would take me 2 hours to go through what the thought processes are and what I'm actually thinking about, which, most of the people that are watching this are going to go, this guy's a fucking psychopath from the things that he's thinking about, because none of that makes any sense to me at the point that I'm at in my life. It's not nefarious. It's literally like thinking through the universe and how how that kind of shit works. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot.
We'll say that
But
maybe episode 2 because
that's we can do that on episode 2. But one of the things that I'm super conscious about is I don't look at my phone for the first 30 minutes of the day.
Mm.
Every day. I wake up, go to the gym. I'm not looking at my phone. Even if I don't go to the gym and it's on the weekends, I'm leaving my phone there. I'm not looking at it, because I feel so much better throughout the day if I have that 30 minutes of space to where I'm not plugged in, to where I'm just, doing whatever I'm doing, making breakfast or hanging out with Delana, hanging out with the dog, just have that space to, you know, get into the day and not feel like I need to be plugged into everything that's going on and need to know all the news, need to know the score of the game last night. I don't give a shit. Honestly, none of that is going to affect my life.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs win or lose, yeah, whatever. That's not going to affect my life in the long run. We're going to forget about the score of the game next season.
Yeah. If anything, it just will torpedo your brain.
Yeah.
But Ben, please, what is your morning routine? Please tell me. I want to be a millionaire, Ben. Cool.
I've heard a lot of different morning routines, and you know, it's really what works for you.
Mm.
Like, there's all these people that say, all right, have the first 2 hours of your day planned out. I don't do that. Fuck that. Like, that doesn't work for me. There's some people that works great for. Like, it's about the number one thing that I'll say is building that space for you to actually have some personal time. And there's a lot of people, a lot of people in my circle, they're super uncomfortable with being alone by themselves in their own head. It's a scary place because they've never spent the time to, build that quiet and be comfortable with themselves. They constantly have to have inputs. That that will drive you nuts. And then, like we talked about earlier, you're gonna get to a point in your life where it's just you. Like, on your deathbed, or at certain points when you're older and your friends are gone, and maybe your spouse has passed away or whatever it is, it's just you. Like, that's the reality of this, is for most of us there's going to be parts of our life where it's just us. And if we're constantly feeding whatever this bullshit is online, like my wife, even, she'll hop on Instagram and see all of these posts about, what big pharma's doing, or vaccines, or the government, or all this shit, and she's just feeding it to me, and I'm like, put your fucking phone away. Stop looking at it. In reality, they're doing exactly what they want to do. They want to get you fired up. They want to make you addicted to this fucking thing that's in front of you, but put it away. So the first hour of my day typically looks like no phone for 30 minutes. I'll go to the gym. And when I'm at the gym, it's most of the time like a podcast, to where I'm, getting something that's valuable. Then I'll go to the office, and this is gonna sound fucking woo-woo. I know it is, but I'll go to the office, I'll take my shoes off, I'll walk. There's a big grass patch behind our office, and the sun rises right behind it.
What?
So I'll sit there and just stand in the grass with barefooted. And I mean, I don't know. I've never had a better morning than when I do that consistently throughout the week. Then I'll go sit and meditate for 20 minutes and then get on with my day. It doesn't need to be this long, drawn out every second of your day. You got to journal for 30 minutes. You got to read 47 pages before you start your day. You got to make this weird magic elixir that you drink every morning to get you primed for the day. Like, no.
Yeah. I think, like you said, everyone, whatever works for you, right? Some people, like, you hear the Hermosi, wakes up, looks at his phone, checks the emails, gets to work. That's whatever works for you. But I think what needs to work for everyone, what needs to fit into that is what you said, which is keeping the quiet or like making space for you just to be with your thoughts. Because
Yeah.
there's been runs of my life in the last 4 years where I have fallen victim to not working or stimulated. I have a phone in my hand, and that is like I said, it torpedoes your creativity
Yep.
terribly. Like just sit, process things, get a freaking bat blocker if you have to, because if you're always in that stimulated zone, you don't have the quiet. Keep the quiet. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a working title for this.
You want to make some t-shirts that keep the quiet?
Keep the quiet. That's good. That's good.
But
Really well
I,
said.
I mean, to go to your point, yeah, Alex Hormozy wants to build a multi-billion-dollar company. You know how much that takes, and you know what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. I, I have zero interest in that. I have a very simple idea of what I want for my life. Again, I'm a simple human being, live in the middle of Missouri. There's not that much, that I need. I want a farm. I want my house. I want to raise my kids with, things to do every day that are not looking at an iPad to where, they're going to check on the chickens, they're pulling the eggs out, they're feeding the cattle, they're
Right.
doing things. They constantly have something that they're assigned to do that's away from a fucking screen. And yeah, drive a nice truck, go on vacation where I want, have financial freedom. But at the end of the day, that doesn't require $1 billion.
Agreed. That's well said. You're a simple man.
It's not that hard. And there's other people that are going to watch this and go, fuck it, Ben, I want $1 billion. Okay, well, you need to know what that takes. And that may take waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day and working until midnight. That's that's probably what it's going to take.
Yeah.
Sacrifice your family life, sacrifice your time with loved ones, sacrifice all of that to build this massive thing. But something that I've been focused on recently is adding value to as many lives as I can on a daily basis. Right? That doesn't require $1 billion. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier, those small conversations, those micro moments of adding value to somebody's life. You can do that with, a little bit of financial freedom, a little bit of space for yourself, raising a family that, you have the time and the space to attend to and be present for. That was something that my mentor taught me. He goes, there's a difference, Ben, between being present and being engaged.
Mm.
He goes, I'm present. I'm not engaged. I'm constantly thinking about other things. I'm constantly in the weeds of, actually, I'm going to play golf with him this afternoon. So that was a big thing that I learned from him was you can say you're present, but that's very different than being engaged. You can say you're present with your spouse. You can go to date night. You can, be home at a certain time. But if you're constantly on your computer, on your phone, like taking phone calls, yeah, you're present, you're there, but you're not engaged with that other person, with the people that matter in your life.
Yeah. And I think some people are all right with not being engaged because they have other goals. Like you're trying to be a billionaire, like you're saying, you're not going to be engaged with family and friends,
No.
but choose your path at the end of the day. And there's
Yeah,
not
and
right or wrong.
and stop looking at fucking gurus on the internet going, I should do everything that they're doing. They have very different goals than you. Set the goals that you want and figure out what it takes to get there. Don't just blindly follow somebody because they drive a nice fucking car. That could be a leased car. Want to go to Ty Lopez?
I'm here in my garage.
Yeah. My Lamborghini and my Ferrari and my shelves of books.
All right, let's put a cap on it there.
Cool.
That
That was
was
definitely beyond the deal.
that was beyond the deal. We'll be back next week, next month,
Sure. Yeah,
tomorrow. Thanks for
why not?
tuning in.